Welcome to Strange but True. Take a breath, slow down, and listen carefully. Some stories are documented, some are debated, some refuse to be explained. We tell you the stories, you decide what's true. Now, let's begin our journey. For most of modern history, there was a simple assumption about how civilization began. First came farming, then permanent settlements, then cities. Only after food could be stored, only after stability existed, did humans begin building monuments. Before that, people were believed to live simply. Small groups, temporary shelters, lives shaped by hunting, gathering, and survival. That framework shaped textbooks, museums, entire timelines of human progress, and for decades, it went largely unquestioned, until a hill in southeastern Turkey complicated it. The site is called Göbekli Tepe. At first glance, it did not appear extraordinary. A rounded mound, loose stones scattered across the surface, no visible walls, no obvious structures. Local farmers crossed it for generations. Animals grazed there. When archaeologists surveyed the site in the 1960s, the stones were recorded and dismissed. The hill was labeled unremarkable. It would take decades for anyone to look again. When excavation resumed in the 1990s, what lay beneath the soil forced a reconsideration of everything that came before. Large limestone pillars emerged, some weighing several tons, some standing more than 15 feet tall. Each had been carved deliberately into a precise T-shape. These were not rough stones. They were shaped, smoothed, balanced. The pillars were arranged in circular enclosures, measured, planned, repeated. This was not random placement, it was design. Radiocarbon dating placed the structures at more than 11,000 years old. That date matters. It predates writing, it predates pottery, it predates metal tools. It comes from a time when humans were believed to live only as nomadic hunter-gatherers. And yet, these people quarried stone, transported it across uneven ground, lifted it upright, positioned it with precision. They coordinated labor, they followed designs, they worked towards structures meant to endure beyond their own lives. This was not improvisation, it was knowledge applied. Moving stone of this size required planning, coordination, shared memory. Someone had to decide where each pillar belonged. Someone had to organize labor. Someone had to ensure designs were remembered and repeated correctly over years. This was not instinct, it was continuity, and continuity suggests intention. The pillars were not blank, their surfaces were carved with animals, foxes, boars, snakes, birds, predators, creatures associated with danger. The carvings repeat across multiple pillars, not randomly, not decoratively. They are positioned deliberately, at eye level, facing inward. They demand attention. They communicate. On several pillars, faint reliefs suggest arms, hands folded across the front. The proportions are consistent. The pillars are not abstract shapes. They resemble figures, standing, present, watching. All of them face the center of each enclosure. What archaeologists did not find is just as important. There were no houses, no hearths, no storage pits, no signs of daily domestic life. Göbekli Tepe was not a village. It was not a settlement. It was something else. A destination, a gathering point, a shared project. Then came something even harder to explain. Göbekli Tepe was not destroyed. It was buried. Each enclosure was deliberately filled with soil, stone, and debris. Not by erosion, not by collapse, by human hands. Layer after layer sealed the structures, carefully, methodically. There's no evidence of panic, no sign of invasion, no trace of disaster. It appears the builders chose to cover the site themselves, as if they understood the purpose of the place had ended, even if its meaning had not. As excavation continued, it became clear this was not a single event. Multiple stone circles lie beneath the mound, some older than others, some overlapping, each built, then buried, again and again. Each suggesting knowledge passed forward and then deliberately interrupted. This was not abandonment, it was closure. Some researchers describe Göbekli Tepe as ritual, others call it social, but those labels do not resolve the central problem. This was not a structure added to over time. It was a project sustained across generations, then intentionally concealed. Göbekli Tepe forces a quiet question. What if large-scale cooperation did not follow agriculture? What if it came first? What if the need to gather, to organize, to act together around shared meaning preceded farming itself? If so, then civilization did not begin with food surplus. It began with intention, and intention leaves traces. What remains unclear is why this place existed at all. Why here? Why then? And why was it removed from view? Göbekli Tepe does not settle comfortably into history. It suggests planning before permanence, coordination before cities, meaning before survival. A structure built before memory, then hidden from it. The stones remain buried, incomplete, silent, waiting beneath the soil, not for discovery, but for understanding that may never fully return. History has a way of hiding the truth. Inside tales, inside myths, inside legends, inside things that feel just a little off. If this story held your attention, subscribe to Strange But True and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. Because sometimes what sounds unbelievable is exactly where the truth hides.